everyone, and thank you so much for being here for our final day of Barack Obama's A Promised Land book talk. So I have really enjoyed this um, so much, and I hope that you have as well. So this week we're going to be on our last parts of the book, and we have some raffles at the end. So there's only two people and I have two prizes. So unless someone else joins us, you guys are going to get prizes. So that'll be nice. So welcome again. So we were in part 6, which is In the Barrel. And in this portion, they focused on the economy and equity, which were two huge things, if you can remember back in the time when Obama was in his first term, the economy and the crash. And also, he was definitely a president who focused on having equity in all that he did. So that was great. All right, so let's talk about the economy. So one of the things that was a focus on in these first chapters was that the economy was beginning to lag. We were beginning to go into a recession. And there were claims made that Obama was too friendly with banks. So I don't know if anyone would like to speak to that and what may have made that claim come out there that Obama was friendly toward banks, too friendly toward banks, I guess, would be the word. So anyone might have a thought on that.
Well, I don't really have a thought on it, but I wondered about it when I saw that in the book. Exactly what did they mean by too friendly?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe willing to work with them. And it was weird to me too, like too friendly toward banks and banking.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't set right as to why that claim went out there. So it's almost one of those things I want to research a little bit more to see what exactly meant by that. So thank you, Joanne. I had the same feeling. Like where was
Good.
that coming from?
I'm glad I was in good company. Hi, Ruth.
I had the same opinion. What
Mhm.
was he talking about?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, so I'm gonna have
And
to.
it left me hanging.
Me too. That's why I put it on here. I wondered if any of you had any new insights on that. So I'm
The
gonna.
only thing I can think of maybe is that as a Democratic president and his willingness to reach across the aisle to
Mhm.
get stuff going, to get the economy jump started, maybe
Mhm.
some people perceive that as being too friendly.
That definitely could be it. Just his manner of reaching across and trying to be the president that equalized for all. Good point, Michelle. Thank you. So that was
And
really a
he
lot of
also
criticism.
wanted he also wanted to show that he was uh, there for a good reason, and his character
Mm-hmm.
was very
Mm-hmm.
play, and he wanted people to know that that's the kind of person he represented.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think he represented himself to the nth degree all throughout his presidency. But there was a lot of criticism, as there is for any president and any new president. And we know right now we have a new president, President Biden, and there's a lot of criticism against him as well. So that was huge, the economy. And during that time, the Greek economy crashed. Does anybody remember that when their banks were closed and they had all that stuff on the news, people outside and trying to draw their money out? Does anybody remember that?
Mm, I don't think.
That was what was happening during that time. Um, and so there was a financial crisis not only here but abroad as well. And so sometimes as a president, you are associated with things. And so he had a lot of criticism and a lot of things to stand against during this time. Now, equity. Equity was definitely a platform and it was a focus for Barack Obama. And he thought that there were a lack of people of color and especially women in decision making. So my question to you on that thought is, do you think it's gotten any better with that?
Not much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're trying. I think, trying to get on the right trajectory, but we do need more. What about all these appointments that Biden has made? He has some new people of color in there and some women. Do you think we're on the right trajectory, or what do you guys think?
I think we're on the right trajectory.
I think we're getting there, but we're not.
I think
Not
it's
quite
going to
there.
take a while. I
Mhm.
think that also will take some changes in the opinions of what is okay and appropriate behavior for men
Mhm.
for us to, really move ahead. And then there's probably some changes that we as women need to make, because some of us have gone overboard trying to get ahead of the men and them holding us back. And
Right.
so maybe some of that is working against us, but there has to be a happy medium somewhere.
Gotta
And
have
it'll
that
take us
balance.
a little while to get there.
Good, very, very good points.
Well, and Joanne, to your point, we are making progress, but anytime you make progress, there's going to be some people, some faction that feels like that progress is taking away from them.
Mm.
Right.
And so
And they're going to rebel
have,
against, yes.
mhm.
Mhm. Excellent point.
But President Biden has made some appointments for people of color. I think more could still be done. And so I think we have to be vocal because we fought to get him in there. And yes, there's been a few made, but for how we represent it for him, I think we still need more from him.
Good, good.
Well, and I think it'll come. He's only been in there 100 days.
Mhm.
And look at what he has to overcome the last 4 years,
Right.
which set us
That's true.
back, in a lot of ways.
Sure did.
That's
It
true.
sure did. Sure did. So that brings me to a point. Do you guys feel that the progress that Obama made with equity, are we still at that point? And I think you just answered it, Joanne, or do we have a lot more work to do? Like, was he the equity president, do you think? Because many people criticize him and say that he didn't do enough for people of color.
Well, to be honest with you, I questioned that myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I kept thinking, I don't see as much happening as I thought would happen. And then I started thinking, well, maybe I was expecting too much, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see quite the.
Well, and Joanne, to your point, I think a lot of Black people did get upset because to speak of equity, he did do more, I think, for the gay community
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and the Latino community than he did for the Black community. And I
What do
love
you
him as a
think?
president,
Mm-hmm.
but once again, with everything, those groups
Yeah.
were more vocal and more out there.
Why do you think that was? Do you think his hands were tied? Do you think that he would not be reelected if he did more for Blacks? What do you all think?
Well, I think with anything, we had a lot of Black people that were sabotaging too.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think those other groups came out more vocal. I think a lot of us said, oh, there's a Black president, we voted for him. And so we just automatically expected stuff to happen.
Mm-hmm. I know with a lot of the pardons, I wondered why he didn't pardon more African Americans. I've seen other presidents do more than he did, and that's
Yeah. But I think too, in the back of his mind, maybe there was the thought or the fear that he was going to be criticized for doing too much, and he would not be able to get it done. I don't know. It just seems like
Mhm.
they were sitting and waiting
Mhm.
to sabotage him, and he tried to keep everything online where it wouldn't cause too much friction, and he could have a good 4 years, not necessarily achieve as much as we thought he should, but he was still able to be effective.
Mm-hmm. And I think if you read between the lines in his book, he alludes to this. And I think probably in part 2, he'll talk more about it, that, you know, maybe he could have done more.
Yes.
Okay, good discussion, you guys. That ended that part. And then we got to part 7, which was on the high wire. And that's where he really, I think, won his re-election, was with the whole bin Laden thing, and his foreshadowing of Donald Trump is in this section as well. So if you all remember, his birth certificate was put into question many times. And so we're gonna watch a video clip of this, if I can get it to play. One moment. This is where the fun starts, where I try to share my screen and play this video. And maybe, let's see, so I'm gonna stop. Oh, I'm gonna do a new share. Okay, I'm remembering how to do this.
Take your time, because we're all in the same boat.
Isn't that the truth? Some of us are not even in the boat. We're just in the water.
I should be better than this. Let's see. Okay, so I got that. You guys can still just, okay, I think.
Okay, so the smile line.
Okay, so I'm sorry, it's a commercial right now. As soon as this commercial stops, I'm gonna share it. Okay.
Earlier this morning, the
Skip
White
the
House
ad.
released President Obama's long.
Okay, and now I'm gonna do a new share. And I got it, you guys. You're gonna be proud of me. Can you see it now?
I can't see anything. Now I can.
Oh, okay.
Now I can.
Birth certificate, the original birth certificate from the day he was born, August. Earlier this morning, the White House released President Obama's long-form birth certificate, the original birth certificate from the day he was born, August 4th, 1961, in Hawaii. Of course, many questions have been raised about whether what the president had released, the certificate of live birth, was indeed authentic. The White House maintained that it was, but in order to quiet his critics, the president came out today and released the official long-form birth certificate. He said that he wanted America to stop being distracted, and he went to the White House briefing room just moments ago to address the issue.
I know that there's going to be a segment of people for which, no matter what we put out, this issue will not be put to rest. But I'm speaking to the vast majority of the American people, as well as to the press. We do not have time for this kind of silliness. We got better stuff to do. I've got better stuff to do. We got big problems to solve, and I'm confident we can solve them, but we're going to have to focus on them, not on this. Thanks very much, everybody.
The president walked out of the briefing without taking any questions, but I do want to bring in Jake Tapper.
Okay, so let me stop sharing that and go back to the PowerPoint. So we could see from his response, he was not happy with all of this questioning of his birth certificate. And I know that Donald Trump was one of the ones who continued to barrage on this. What do you guys thought on this and how this weighed upon him?
Well, I remember, Felicia, when he released it, I was upset because I was like, he shouldn't have released it. Because like he said, no matter what, the ones that we're going to question, we're going to still question.
Well, and I think every time he responded, it was like he was falling deeper into the Trump trap, and it kept him from being more effective and what he really needed to be working on.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it was nonsense for that to even be brought to the attention public, because Obama knew when his birthday was,
Right.
like all the rest of us.
And knew where he was born.
Exactly.
It was just a circus. I mean, now that you think back on it, that was really, it was ludicrous.
It was a detraction from having positive politics is what it was. He was constantly finding distractions for a lot of things, and that was one of them.
Right.
Distract from Obama, and maybe he could get some people away from him.
Right. It was just ridiculous. But we had, you know, he wrote about it, and you could just tell from his commentary that it was not a good space for him, and just it was horrible, just horrible. So
Yeah.
thank you. Now we know that his highlight was with bin Laden, and when he was able to get that coup where they captured him. So I again want to try to share, oops, a video clip of this. This was, I think, his heroic moment. And I think that's why he ended the book with this. This was the highlight, and in my opinion, probably what got his reelection for him. So let's do a new share, and we're going to hear President Obama. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Here we go.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children. It was nearly 10 years ago that a bright September day was darkened by the worst attack on the American people in our history. The images of 9/11 are seared into our national memory. Hijacked planes cutting through a cloudless September sky, the Twin Towers collapsing to the ground, black smoke billowing up from the Pentagon, the wreckage of Flight 93 in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where the actions of heroic citizens saved even more heartbreak and destruction. And yet we know that the worst images are those that were unseen to the world. The empty seat at the dinner table, children who were forced to grow up without their mother or their father, parents who would never know the feeling of their child's embrace, nearly 3,000 citizens taken from us, leaving a gaping hole in our hearts. On September 11th, 2001, in our time of grief, the American people came together. We offered our neighbors a hand, and we offered the wounded our blood. We reaffirmed our ties to each other and our love of community and country. On that day, no matter where we came from, what God we prayed to, or what race or ethnicity we were united as one American family. We were also united in our resolve to protect our nation and to bring those who committed this vicious attack to justice. We quickly learned that the 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al-Qaeda, an organization headed by Osama bin Laden, which had openly declared war on the United States and was committed to killing innocents in our country and around the globe. And so we went to war against Al-Qaeda to protect our citizens, our friends, and our allies. Over the last 10 years, thanks to the tireless and heroic work of our military and our counterterrorism professionals, we've made great strides in that effort. We've disrupted terrorist attacks and strengthened our homeland defense. In Afghanistan, we removed the Taliban government, which had given bin Laden and Al-Qaeda safe haven and support. And around the globe, we worked with our friends and allies to capture or kill scores of Al-Qaeda terrorists, including several who were a part of the 9/11 plot. Yet, Osama bin Laden avoided capture and escaped across the Afghan border into Pakistan. Meanwhile, Al-Qaeda continued to operate from along that border and operate through its affiliates across the world. And so shortly after taking office, I directed Leon Panetta, the director of the CIA, to make the killing or capture of bin Laden the top priority of our war against Al-Qaeda.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. That was a top priority of their war against bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. So let me get back to this. And this was, like I said, it was the highlight of his first presidency, first run, excuse me. I'd like your thoughts on that, if you even remember watching it. And then on page 695 in the book is where he starts talking about this. I'm in the second paragraph. Osama bin Laden, codenamed Geronimo, for the purposes of the mission. The man responsible for the worst terrorism attack in American history. The man who had directed the murder of thousands of people and set in motion a tumultuous period of world history had been brought to justice by a team of American Navy SEALs. Inside the conference room, there were audible gasps. My eyes remained glued to the video feed. "We got him," I said softly. Nobody budged from their seats for another 20 minutes while the SEAL team finished its business, bagging bin Laden's body, securing the 3 women and 9 children present, and questioning them in one corner of the compound, collecting computers, files, and other materials of potential intelligence value, and attaching explosives to the damaged Black Hawk, which would then be destroyed, replaced by a rescue Chinook that had been hovering a short distance away. As the helicopters took off, Joe placed a hand on my shoulder and squeezed. "Congratulations, boss," he said. I stood up and nodded. Dennis gave me a fist bump. I shook hands with others on the team. I'm gonna stop there. So it was huge for him. And I think just him saying that he softly said, "We got him." That just must have been such an exhilarating moment because that was his aim. He just told us that was his focus. Just your thoughts on the whole bin Laden sequence.
Well, I remember a lot of people saying, well, we don't really know that they got him because they didn't show his picture and make a big march of it. And I thought that just as softly as he said, "We got him," that he came out, did the press conference. He didn't do a big fanfare. He just kept it to the facts.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was more respectful because I think had he did a lot of fanfare, it would have just been horrible.
Good point. Mm-hmm. Good point. Thank you, Michelle.
You know, that's a good point that I think we can use towards Obama's presidency along the way. He didn't do a lot of horse and pony, show. He was straight to the point, dignified in what he was doing. And he didn't do a lot of unnecessary bragging.
Right. Humble man. Good. Thank you. Definitely just spoke to his character.
Yeah.
Definitely did. Mm-hmm. Miss Ruth, do you have anything to say?
No, I was of the question whether or not that it really happened that bin Laden was killed, because we did not see the evidence of that. We just heard that it was done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was my question.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, did they ever, in a few years after that, ever show his body?
I think I've seen some things, I want to say. I think I have.
I think they did show some stuff, like the people were still, even when they did that, because when they had disposed of his body, they did it in the rights of his religion. And some people were still upset about that. But like I said, I think no matter what, whether it was him showing his grades, his birth certificates, the naysayers were going to still be naysayers. And I thought with this particular incident, he did it in a way that they got the job done, but it wasn't done disrespectfully.
Right.
They did what his body would have been done had his family been able to take receipt of it. So, yeah.
Uh-huh. Good point. Good point. That was a huge part of his first presidency. And then
It's very surprising how much media plays roles in the politics
oh yes.
program.
Yes.
And they allow as much information
Yes,
as
they
they
do.
want to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So then
We have to believe,
yes. That's right.
and we have to believe what they say
Good point, Miss Ruth.
as the truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of foreshadowing. Thank you for your thoughts. A lot of foreshadowing about Trump um, in his future
Dr. Durden,
rise.
can I say one more thing
Sure, of
about,
course you can. Yes.
because you know how a lot of people were saying, well, I don't believe it, because I think had it not been true,
Mm-hmm.
I think the Taliban would have been showing us pictures and things. And so I just believe because he said, because I don't think he would have took a chance on saying it had been done if it hadn't.
Uh-huh. The good point. We would know if it hadn't, I believe. Mm-hmm. They would have been very happy to show that it was not true. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of foreshadowing about Trump and his rise to power and separatism in this final chapter. Then on this picture, you see President Trump with his finger pointing into Obama's chest. And they're having an exchange there. And I just would like to know, just looking at that picture and what you guys know about President Obama, and then we had President Trump, just any thoughts on that and that separatism and that rise to power. Obama talked about it, how people seem to be really supporting people that had these ideas, this ideology, and that having an ideology of being a person of equity was not popular. Just wanted your thoughts on that.
Hmm.
And why that might be. I'm thinking, I thought that maybe by having this African American first Black president, it brought out a lot of hate in people and made them really think, well, we don't want to lose our power. And I think, Michelle, you had talked about that earlier, that those who are losing power, they begin to fight because they don't want to lose that power. And it could have been a power struggle and thinking, well, then who will be next to be president? We've got to gain our power back.
Well, Dr. Durden, just the foreshadowing and just that picture of him with his finger pointed at President Obama, you know, up until that point, presidents tried to have some decorum, some sense of how they would react to other people, respond. And I think that definitely foreshadowed what a Donald Trump presidency would look like, how he would respond to people.
Mm-hmm.
That one picture just summed up 4 years of tyranny.
It does, doesn't it?
And for a moment, I couldn't even speak because just thinking about the 4 years was just traumatic.
Oh,
I was just triggered in a few minutes.
I'm telling you. Oh, yes. Thank you. Anyone
But
else?
he had a lot of prejudice both throughout his lifestyle as president.
Mm-hmm.
Even the political party was prejudiced toward him.
Yes, they were. Mm-hmm.
Both
Yes, they
the
were.
Democrat and the Republic. And that was very well known.
He faced a
How
lot of.
much fight or what fights he had to do to
Mm-hmm.
keep his idea of being who he was.
Yes. So much
Because they
opposition.
were throwing their feet at him all, both left and right.
Excellent point. Yes, ma'am. So true. So true. Okay. Anyone else before we get into, we're kind of done. We're going to get into some fun parts now. Okay. So you guys, we are done with this beautiful book. This is just the first one. He's going to come out with another one. I just want everyone to just think for a minute. What was your overall impression of this memoir? What did you think? And I can start. I think I enjoyed reading it. I love Barack Obama, and his Audacity of Hope book is amazing. I think his writing style is great. it was nice for me just as a reflection of this time of history that I lived through, but hearing it being written from his point of view, I enjoyed. I truly enjoyed the book, and I need to read it again at a slower pace to highlight and, pick out some of those life lessons in it that I can use for myself to help make me a better person. So I thought it was an awesome memoir. So the next person I see on the screen, I'll just call on people, let's see, is Joanne. What was your overall impression?
I was impressed with I knew he was an intelligent, smart man, but I think his writing style and the way he shared the events that were happening during his presidency really spoke directly to that point, that he was very intelligent, very smart. And I think that, somewhere out there was a lot of jealousy towards him. And the fact that he was able to accomplish some things, there was certain people in the opposite party that probably were not happy with the way he was able to function in spite of the fact that there were still things that we felt he should have accomplished. But sometimes you can only do so much in the situation that you find yourself in. And I think he conducted himself very, very well in spite of.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you. Ms. Ruth, you're the next one on my screen.
Well, I like what Obama's character portrayed to all of us who have been a part of that kind of lifestyle. And he made it look like it was us. It was just the way we are. We would take things and we would really not respond in a way that it made people angry at him.
Right.
But it made him have that he was trying to complete his idea in a way in which it would be pleasant for those that were listening to what he had to say. A great guy. I don't think I'd want to read that book again because it's just too much reading and too much. Well,
It's a lot. I know.
It was really, I was really able to relate to his lifestyle.
Yes.
In many ways.
Well,
so why should I read it again when I know what they are, what it was?
Wonderful. I love that.
I shared the book. I shared my book with my daughter. And
oh, good.
Gonna read it.
She'll enjoy it. Yeah.
She said she probably would.
Awesome. Thank you. Michelle?
Well, what I thought was interesting was he was telling a story that we already knew, but just reading the book brought it all back. There were things that I had forgotten. And then Dr. Durden and I had the pleasure of also hearing him talk about the book from a Barnes and Noble. I don't remember the lady that interviewed him, Dr. Durden.
I can't either at this point.
I saw that, Michelle.
Yeah, but it just brought it all back. He's an excellent writer, and his points were as valid today as they were when we were going through the different things. How he had to deal with the backlash of being elected, how everything he did was scrutinized.
Absolutely.
Just the way he and Michelle carried themselves. I mean, we never had a first lady ever being called a gorilla. Them mocking his education, questioning his education, everything, and like I said, he wrote about it. We lived through it with him, but it
Mhm.
was just like reading the book. It brought it all back. And I can
Absolutely.
kind of see Ruth's point. I don't want to live that history again, because as well as it was for us to have a black president, there was a lot of backlash that came that we're still dealing with from it right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So now, what do you hope will be included in part 2? Because he's not done. This is just part 1. What would you hope that he might write about, or something you're interested in? I would like to hear him write a little bit maybe about his daughters. I mean, he mentioned them, but maybe being a father, and in that second term, the girls were getting a little bit older, and how he dealt with them going through puberty and in school. And I know that at one time his daughter got a summer job at somewhere in Martha's Vineyard, that I had actually went to go visit, and she just was trying to be a regular kid, and just how that went for him.
But one of the things I remember, which hopefully will be part of the second book, he was talking about the Secret Service. And I just want to see what his view of his relationship with the Secret Service, because he made the comment that he was glad that for many years men with big guns would protect his daughters. But one of the things I'm interested in was when the country was freaking out, a lot of us was freaking out when it was, announced that Donald Trump would be president, how he came and, I mean, I'm sure he didn't want to do that and say it's going to be okay. It was like, no, it's not.
But he had to say it.
Okay. But he had to say it. So I'm looking forward to the next book as well.
Awesome. Joanne?
Yes, I got bumped off. I just got back
Oh,
on.
yeah, I saw that. I was like, did she leave?
No, I was wondering what was going on.
Okay, we were just wondering, what would you like to see included in part 2? Or Miss Ruth, whoever's ready.
Yes, I would like to see him really talk to young people in advice on what is best for them at this time, and how they might go about making peace and keeping an attitude that does not affect anger as much as it is there, but let young people know that there is a way in which you can do that. You can stay away from the anger that is coming at you and people that is putting it out.
Wonderful. Thank you. Joanne?
I would agree with Ms. Ruth, and I would also hope that maybe he can find a way to say things that will reach the young people and not have it be so loquacious that they put the book down. And I think he has a lot of good to say, but he's going to have to really find a way to communicate to the youth that we have of today.
Right. Awesome. Next question. How do you think history will view Obama's first term many years from now? Do you think they'll say it was successful, will be criticized harshly? What do you think?
I think it will be criticized because I think that we as a group of people, we had big hopes and dreams and ideas about what he was going to do when he got in there. Once he was in that office, he had to function according to the office, and then he was limited in order to be effective in what he was doing.
Right.
So our expectations may have been not too high, but still too high for what he had to function with,
Yeah.
And so it was almost one of those situations where if he didn't, he was downed. If he did, he was going to be downed in some ways. So he had a rough road to hoe.
Absolutely. I do think it'll be criticized as well. Anyone
Mhm.
else?
There was a lot of hardship that those of us who have been a part of his lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
can really feel hurt over it, how he was treated.
Right.
And hopefully he was able to overcome those treatments
Mm-hmm.
in good ways in which he did it. He did it with a humble character of being a person with that kind of character.
I think for what he had to deal with, he was very effective. Like Ms. Ruth was saying, I think he found a way to work around a lot of the obstacles that were put in front of him, even though he wasn't as effective in some areas as we were hoping that he would go in and turn things around. You know, you can only do so much when you don't really have a people with got your back, you know.
Right.
A lot of them digging at him, hoping he didn't succeed. So,
True. Mm-hmm. Like you said, downed if he did and downed if he didn't.
that's right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else on that one?
I differ from Joanne and Miss Ruth on how he will be judged. I think for his first term, he got that Affordable Care Act passed, and he had such a road to overcome because the Teapot Party and everybody else that was just willing, they didn't care if the city crashed and burned. If DC, they didn't want that to pass, and it passed.
Right.
And the fact that he got Osama bin Laden, all that in his first term, I think people will see those things as being very positive when history looks back.
He did a lot.
Oh, I agree, Michelle.
Oh,
Those
he
buildings
did a
thing
lot.
is positive. I agree with that. But I think in terms of where they thought we as Black people would be after having a Black president in there, I don't think it's going to come out the way, you know, we think it should come out. But no, I agree with what you're saying about bin
Yeah,
Laden.
I think history will look at it differently than the Black community will look at it in the viewing his first term.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everyone.
He was also trying to get all people to approve him as who he was
Mm-hmm.
and all the good things that he did. That he didn't seem to be credible for him. He just, it's kind of like slid under the door as he did it, but and he had that ability to do it.
He did. He did. All right. So now we're talking about our next book. Our next book. Our next book is Cicely Tyson's beautiful book. I think she's so pretty on that cover. Just As I Am. So this is going to be our next title. And this is her memoir. On the back it says, in her long and extraordinary career, Cicely Tyson has not only succeeded as an actor, she has shaped the course of history. That's what President Barack Obama said about her book. So it's a great segue since the president is endorsing her book on the back of her book, and we just read his. So he recommends it. He recommends the book.
And Dr. Durden, how many pages is that book?
Oh, this one's not as much. Let's see. 414. That's including so this is an easy read. I've started a little bit of it. So this is going to be awesome. Awesome book. I can't hear you.
Oh, can we do it for May and June? Break it up over 2 parts, then?
Yeah, I think we should do 2 parts. Oh, the pictures. You're going to love the pictures. Someone's going to win this book today, too, by the way. So, So that's where we get to the thank yous and get to the raffles. So hold on, I gotta turn my camera off really quick because I gotta get this third prize since we have 3 people here today. So just 1 second. Okay, let me turn this back on.
We can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I was just talking away. We have 3 lovely prizes for 3 lovely ladies, I was saying.
Well,
So we have the Cicely Tyson, Just As I Am book, #1 New York Times bestseller. We have a collector's plate, Barack Obama's Historic Victory, limited edition commemorative plate with a certificate of authenticity. And we have, I think anyone who's a reader needs to have journals to write about what they're reading. We have a set of writing journals to write about. So I have written your names, and I'm going to pull names, and then you pick your prize. So you can pick any of those 3. All right, so let's see. Got my purple bag, 3 names in here. So let's see what the first name is that I pull. Okay, it's this one. So the first person is Michelle. So Michelle, of those 3 things, which one do you want?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Durden. I already have the plate and I have many journals, so I'll take the book.
She's gonna take the book. Okay, so
Thank
Michelle,
you.
this one's yours. And then at the end, if you can
Yay.
give me people's addresses, because I will mail them.
No, well, I will meet you, Dr. Durden, because I still have stuff for you. Remember, we were going
Okay,
to
then I'll meet you and give you your book. Awesome.
Okay.
So
Thank
yay!
you. Yay, thank you.
All right, next name. Let's see. It's this one. Who is it? Miss Ruth. Plate. Journals.
Journal.
Journals. Okay, Miss Ruth. So we'll get your address and I will send them to you. So,
And Dr. Durden, when we meet up, I can actually take Miss Ruth's stuff to her.
oh, excellent. So Joanne, you got the
Oh,
plate.
thank you.
okay. And Dr. Durden, if you would give the plate to Michelle, I can get it from her.
Excellent. Then, I won't even have to do any type of go into the mailbox. Perfect. So you guys got 3 nice prizes.
And thank you
Dr.
for the
Durden
prizes.
You're welcome.
and Michelle,
Yes, Joanne?
I would like to say a thank you to Dr. Durden for bringing this book to our attention and for conducting the discussions. And
You took the words right out of my mouth, Joanne, because that's what I was getting ready to say.
all right, and I think you did an excellent job of bringing us up to date on Obama. And,
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
And the slides, the videos that you showed was perfect. I think you did an excellent job. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ms. Ruth, for being here with us.
I just want to
Yes.
thank all of you ladies for inviting me back to the group, Joanne especially.
Once I get
It's been a joy to be among the group again. Thank you.
Ruth, once I get you, then we're stuck like glue. So I'm not gonna let go of you.
It was a
Thank you.
pleasure. Oh, I
Well-
love everyone. Thank you, guys.
Well, Dr. Durden, as Joanne said, you did an excellent job with this book. And thank you so much for agreeing to be the chair of the book club. And
Oh, my
already got us on our next book. I'm gonna, Amanda, are you still there with us?
I'm here.
Can you double check? I had asked Brenda that we had made a motion to start a library with the book club books. So the next one will be the Cicely Tyson book. And Dr. Durden, can you say the name of that book again?
Just As I Am.
So we need to have that added to the collection. The Barack Obama book. We had did Michelle. I'd asked her when we had did Michelle's book. So there was the one that Ahmad did something. Joanne, do you remember the title for that one's A
Cast.
Raisin?
Cast. Are you talking about Cast?
Was it Cast, or I thought it was a raisin or something. Anyway, we need to
warmth
sure,
of other, Michelle, the warmth of other suns.
yes, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think we did Cast. And then, of course, Joanne, you asked that the committee would do the book Jared put together. So we want to make sure we have all those in our library, and we want to make sure we have a designated place where people can find those to check out, not to keep. So, yes, if you could follow up,
nice.
Amanda, with Brenda, because we had asked back when we had did the Michelle Obama book if that could happen.
Okay, I'll definitely follow up with her on that.
Yeah, so all the books we've done is for our book clubs, that we have one copy for the AAC book club library.
Wonderful. Well, we'll
It
get
was amazing for me to try to check Obama's book out of the library. There were like 135 waiting lists.
Oh,
Every area that I went to.
wow.
Right. So we want to make sure we have a copy. And there was also the one that we did with Constance Jackson from the Padel NAACP, that book. I can't, once again, so it was the Cotton book. So if we need to make sure we get all those in our library.
That'd be awesome.
Remember doing that one, Joanne?
I was just trying to think of the name of it, but I know the book you're talking about.
Yes.
It was about the people that pick cotton down in
White, it's white.
down by
Not
all cotton pickers are not white.
Somewhere in Arizona. I remember that one. Good book.
So we need to make sure we get a copy of every book we've done thus far to put in our book club library.
Okay, Ms. Ruth, would you say the name again, please?
Not
all Okies are white.
All cotton pickers.
Yeah, not all Okies are white.
Oh, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Was that it?
Mm-hmm.
I know it was cotton picking in there.
No,
I remember it.
no, it's not all Okies are white.
That's right. That's it. Thanks for helping me get that together.
No problem.
I read her book, but I also experienced her experience.
Right. You lived the experience.
I was picking cotton at that time.
Well, thank you guys so much. Well,
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your evening.
Yes.
Bye, everyone. Be
Bye.
safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you too, Amanda.
Thanks,
My
Amanda.
pleasure.
Thanks, Amanda.
You're welcome. Thanks so much, everyone.
Bye, everyone.